Okay, so Andertons has just released their video today. I'm probably putting this in the next morning, so Andertons released their video yesterday. Andertons released their video on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. This is going to be going on Thursday. It's confusing. So I was watching them, and we're going to get into it. We're going to look at all the amps and the pedals. I'll put it on screen so you can see them. But before we do that, I just want to talk about it real quick because I'm kind of torn about how I feel about it. Like, I don't really feel the way I think I should. Like, I should be more excited about it, but I'm not. You get JCM 900, you get a modded 800, you get a modded 1959, and you get 5 pedals that cover all of their classics: the 1959, the 800, the 900, the JVM, the DSL. I feel like there's companies out there that have already done it, and done it, I hate to say it, but done it better. Some Marshall pedals out there that I think are really, really good, that do more than these do. And as far as the amps are cool. They are very cool amps. Hand wired, it looks like. It's not bringing anything new to the table, really, because most of it is basically the same. Most of it is basically just more of the same. It's not really doing anything. You're getting kind of nothing more than like an overdrive built in, and another amp you're getting like a master volume and a bright switch on and off. So there's companies out there that are doing that already. They're doing it better. Friedman, for example, they're already doing what the Marshall amp brand is now doing. And here's the problem with it, okay? Here's where I think Marshall's messing up. Okay, so we're going to start on the Marshall website because the Andertons website has everything but the new 800. So we're going to take a look at the 800 on Marshall's website. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you if the mods are foot switchable. If there's an effects loop, I assume there is, because most of the 800s now have, I think they all have effects loops. The studios, the reissues, all that. So I'm assuming it has an effects loop, but I don't know if the mods are foot switchable. They really should be, but I don't know. And like I said, it's not saying anything on here about it. But there's what you get. You get a tight, OD1, OD2, and a mid shift. If it was foot switchable, it's kind of cool. If not, it's kind of just like throwing things in there just to throw things in there, because you can get your mid shift and your tighter overdrives from pedals that you can turn on and off. So again, I'm hoping those are foot switchable. It's kind of cool looking, but I mean, it's an 800. At this point in time, we have 800s, we have studio 800s. I'm just not seeing a lot of benefit to this without adding any kind of modern features, such as load boxes, IRs, reverbs, and delays, like Ingle does with their stuff. Overall, it's cool though. I mean, it's an 800, and I guess it's hand wired. All right, so now we're gonna go back to Andertons and check out everything else. They have five new pedals, and I think a couple other amps. They have a 59, a 1959 plexi, modded, and a JCM 900 studio, which it's cool. But you can get 900s for like $700-800 all day long, the 100-watt ones. So it's kind of a weird choice. Like, it makes you wonder, like, what are they going to do next? Are they going to do a vintage modern, a Mode 4 reissue, a JCM 2000, which is weird if they did, because they've already got the DSL line. So unless they're bringing it back to England, I guess I could see the benefit in that. The JVM. I mean, that's really... I don't know where they're going to go with the little lunchbox heads anymore. So we have, for 3,000 over there, what's that, 3,500, 3,800 here? I don't know. I haven't bothered looking it up. You get a modded 1959 plexi. Let's take a look at the mods here. So you get a clipping diode, you get a bright switch. Let's look at the back. No effects loop, so that's automatically kind of weird. I think they should. It is wired really cool though, I'll say that. Like, the wiring is very, very good. What kind of mods are we getting on this exactly? I watched the Andertons video, but I don't remember the mods. Okay, you get a clip switch, and it controls the amount of clipping, and the signal is cut or clipped. Bright switch, so like when you're cranking the amp up, you can, I guess, put the bright, or actually when you're bringing the volume down and the amp is too ice picky, you can take the brightness out so it's not so ice picky at a lower volume. You get a master volume, and I guess they give you 2 overdrives in it, so you can kind of like boost it. Again, you can boost it with pedals. It's cool, but well, it does have an effects loop right there. Effects loop. I didn't see it on the back though. Let's see if we can zoom in. Okay, it must be on the front with the these switches here. Yeah, it says effects loop, but I'm just not seeing where it is. Go watch the Andertons video if you want. Overall, it's a cool looking amp, but again, I'm not seeing it. Is basically what I'm saying. And here we have the 2 900s. Okay, what do we have here as far as the 900 goes? You get your volume and reverb for channel 1, volume reverb channel 2, 3-band EQ, the presence knob, you get your preamp 1, preamp 2 gain. If it works like a 900 did, I believe they cascaded a little bit, so that could be cool. Let's look at the back. See if there's anything really interesting on the back. Well, I don't guess we're going to get to see the back. Here we go. Do we get... Okay, yeah. You do get an effects loop. You get the power scaling. So what is the power scaling? You get 20. I have to read it. But you get your foot switch, you get your power scaling, and you get the line out direct recording. I guess the direct is going to be unfiltered with EQs. And the recording compensated gives you kind of like an IR type flavor. Again, I would rather see like a load box and IR capability built in, like 2 notes or something. Let's go back and see in the description down here. You get 20 watts to 5 watt to 1 watt, so that's kind of cool. What else do we have? We have the combo version of this. What speaker is in that? Vintage 30, I'm guessing. Let's see. G12T75, so that's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool speaker. The pedals. You get a JVM style overdrive. You get a DSL, an 800, a 900, and 1959. The thing is, they're priced really well. That's like $149, $150 in US dollars. It's $119 in the British pounds. They don't work as like preamps, so it has to. They say use it with a clean amp or something, that they're not meant to be preamps, which I think is a mistake. They could have priced them a little higher and made them work like actual preamps, and I think that would have been really cool. The video I saw, they were running Marshall pedals into Marshalls, so it sounded like a Marshall. I would like to hear it in like a Fender Hot Rod or Twin Reverb or something like that. A Vox AC30, just to see what it sounds like on something else that's not going to instantly give you the Marshall flavor. And I'm only doing this video because I'm not trying to hate on Marshall. You know, there's guys that are going to hate on Marshall and just say, hey, you know, dinosaur brand or whatever. I want to see Marshall do really well, but they're going to have to get into the future. Because let's look up the JVM. When was the JVM first introduced? Okay, so the JVM was introduced in 2007. It's 2025. Almost 20 years ago. And that's still the flagship amp. That's kind of the problem, right? Their flagship amp is like 20 years old. And then they keep reissuing the old stuff, like, okay, here's an 800 again, here's a plexi 20 watt, here's an 820 watt. Now here's a 920 watt. Here's the hand wires, with some mods. And I get it, man, the Marshall sound of the past, people love to talk about. Marshall amps always kind of have that flavor. It's kind of weird. And then it's like they're priced in a way that you might as well just get the old amp, because you can get the old amp for the same price or less. Anyway, I don't want to go into pricing. I just want to talk about what I think Marshall needs to do. What they need to do is stop thinking about the past, because the past is in the past. All right? If you want to go into the future, think about what everybody's playing right now. Everybody's playing Mesa Barbara. They're playing, you know, Ingles. They're playing even EVH amps. They're playing EVH amps. Mesa Boogie still seems to be big. I mean, there's so many amp brands out there that people have switched to that are giving more. For example, Ingles giving you proper power scaling. They're giving you effects built in. They're giving you load boxes built in. They're giving you IRs built in. Laney. Laney did it. They put out a 3-watt LA studio amp, which is kind of like the supergroup, kind of like their plexi. So they did it as a 3-watt version, but then they gave you 2 notes built in, so you can choose IRs. You don't have to plug it into a cab. If it's not plugged into the cab, the amp knows it's not plugged into a cab, and you don't blow it up. And that's a supergroup, okay? Why is Marshall just not doing it with their amps? Because it could be done. 2 Notes has already created it. There's other brands that are making it. I use 2 Notes. That's why I'm talking about it. 2 Notes is already created. All they got to do is license it from them, throw it in their amps, and now you have some cool stuff. And you could do like Ingle did, foot switchable reverb and delays built in that you can get to the front panel and set it that way if you wanted to. And now you're putting yourself into an area that you need to be in. And if you're going to put the mods on there, like they put the mid boost or mid shift, whatever, OD1 to OD2, all that stuff, use that big, what is it, 5 or 6 button foot switch they got, use that for its program where you could turn all those on and on, turn the reverb on and off, turn the delay on and off. And now, with the IR built in, you have an amazing amp, right? You have an amp, it could be the same old amp, it could be the 800, it could be the 900, it could be the 1959. But giving it these new capabilities, silent recording. I mean, everybody's got to play quiet now. Silent recording, it could be so much more than it was. I mean, I saw videos where people were talking about that got to play these amps, that how it was going to be these amazing, how it was going to be these amazing, how it was going to be these amazing, fuck! How is it going to be, dude, if you don't get this shit right, I'm going to kill you. How it was going to be these amazing, exciting amps. And that made me think, oh, we're going to get modern features. We're going to go to the future. We're going to get a new flagship. And we didn't get that. What we got was a modded 1959, a modded 800, which people have been doing the 1950 mods since the 70s. JCMs have been modded since the 80s, so that's very old news at this point in time. It's just now being done by Marshall about 30 years too late. Then the pedals. I mean, you're getting cool pedals, but they're not really, they look very good. I gotta say that, they look cool. But they're not giving you anything new. It's kind of, I want to see them do well. Like, this is not me shitting on Marshall. I really want to see Marshall do well. But when you think about bands that you watch, maybe in like the Stoner Doom community, yeah, people are still using Marshalls. But if you're thinking about extreme metal, if you're thinking about hard rock, whatever, I can think of all these bands that are using other types of amps, or they're using amp sims, modelers, things like that. Maybe that's something that Marshall should do. A Marshall modeler that models all of their classic amps. The Plexi, the 800, the 900, the DSL 2000, that was JCM 2000, the JVM, and then put it in there with effects. The Jubilee, put the Jubilee in there and make it just a Marshall modeler. That could be something cool. That could be something they could do. The technology's been around long enough. I'm sure they could get an engineer to do it for them. Anyway, so this is my thoughts on the Marshall amps and pedals that have come out, and my thoughts on the brand in general. And I would love to hear in the comments down below what you guys think. Am I totally off base in how I feel they should go into the future? Am I wrong? Should they stay in the past like they seem to be doing? Do you guys think there should be a new flagship? What are your thoughts on all this new Marshall gear that's just got released as of yesterday? See you guys in the next video.